When someone says 24-hour news cycle, you know what's being referred to? The idea that now, because information moves so quickly, every day there's a new thing for people to complain about. It's the biggest, worst catastrophe in the world. But then, completely forgotten
Like the old cartoon movies.
next day.
Other than that, they don't exist for me.
Sure. Well, the thing is, dude, those old cartoon movies, those were always fucking whitewashed versions of the original myths. It's funny, it was only yesterday we were talking about Slavic myth with Durian and interpretations of The Witcher, right? Like, if you have a look at the original, like the original story of fucking, what's it called? Like The Little Mermaid, right? And then compare that to the Little Mermaid cartoon. Like, it's completely changed. Completely changed. They've taken this, you know, this story, this bit of folklore, and they've changed it into something that, you know, a family can consume. That a family can sit there and watch and cheer for the little girl and whatever else. I mean, that's what Disney always was, right? Disney was always that. Taking these fucking Grimm tales, literally shared by the Grimm's brothers normally. Well, I'm saying the new Little Mermaid movie, it's doing the exact same thing that the Little Mermaid cartoon was. It's no fucking different. Oh, what? The actress is black. Big fucking whoop. Who gives a fuck? It's still, compare it to the book, it is so different. So different. Like, of all the things to care about, caring whether or not what her skin color is just like the most thing to care about. Like, if you're going to care that it was a bad adaptation, you know, fine, look at the original source material and see how bad the original fucking cartoon adaptation was of the original story. It's a terrible adaptation. Which is not saying it's a terrible movie. You know, it's a very beloved movie. Lots of people love that movie. The animated Little Mermaid. And there are lots of things about...
Because the majority of the population doesn't RLY read.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. So they're going to have... That's why they choose to get something about get mad about something they didn't have to read. It's just like the most obvious thing, you know? And you know what? So, without trying to get too fucking political, I need to get a little bit political for a minute. But so, like, the reason that Donald Trump became popular, right, is because he's kind of like this distilled, perfect narcissism.
Give me a show.
This is like the most perfectly narcissist a person can be, right? This is the flavor of himself that Trump sells his supporters. And what the flow-on effect of that, look, it gets more complicated than this, but I'm just trying to be brief. The flow-on effect of that, okay, the flow-on effect of that is it's suddenly cool and somehow patriotic to be the biggest asshole you can possibly be. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that's terrible. Obviously, that's fucking terrible. But that's what's happened. Okay, and that's what's happened. And now, whenever a movie comes out, whenever fucking anything comes out, like, have a look at the controversy about the most recent Snow White movie. Right. Well, the most recent Snow White movie, right, where you've got Rachel Ziegler, who is a girl who has olive skin, right? But the fact that the movie is called Snow White, about a girl with pale skin, and just for the record, as far as Rachel Ziegler's ethnicity, she actually does have very pale fucking skin for her ethnicity, for whatever it's worth. In any case, just the simple fact that the movie's called Snow White.
When they are confronted with facts, it's just no man. You became literal.
That's right. Look, as soon as you want to show that you're being a little bit patient, a little bit tolerant, a little bit compassionate, all of a sudden, that makes you the asshole. That makes you a cucked fucking liberal, right? And not worth listening to. Just because you want to have a little bit of patience and kindness for people. Yeah, so this is a big problem. And so the thing is, this attitude, this perfectly narcissist attitude, gets applied to every single bit of media that comes out. And rather than looking at something and going, hey, I might like this about it, I might like that about it, I might like this about it. Here's some things I might like, here's some things maybe I won't like. Instead of taking that fucking approach, people are instantly like, I have to hate this, I have to show that my hatred is louder than anyone else's hatred, and my hatred is more pure and more narcissistic than anyone else's fucking narcissism, because that's somehow the new fucking American paradigm. Okay? It's very exhausting. And there are huge groups, and it's not just Facebook. Facebook's one of the worst places, obviously. You got Facebook and Twitter and all of these groups that are just so quick to jump on the bandwagon. That's true. Yep.
If you're a Tardo, you're just a Tardo regardless of your skin color XD.
And that's right. But hang on. Just to examine what you're saying for a moment, Alex. I think to some degree, what you're saying is true. Okay? To some degree, what you're saying is true. But for some reason, we don't give a fuck that some actor's an arsehole in his real life if he portrayed the character Spartacus on screen super well. We don't care that the fucking, that some actor, like, we don't care that this guy was a fucking rapist because, he does portrays X character fucking so well on screen or whatever. People are like super quick to forgive actors and actresses, actors more than actresses, to forgive actors that any of their foibles are absolutely fine, as long as they're not mean to the public, right? Now, Rachel Ziegler is very young, did a lot of interviews in a very short time, and look, I think people are super quick. Look, I hate to be in the position where here I am fucking defending Rachel Ziegler, because I don't particularly like her, okay? So it's ridiculous that I feel like I need to defend her for a moment. You're right in that it's got nothing to do with the skin color, but you have to know that it's because of her skin color, though no one will say that. They'll gloss over that. They will zoom in and talk about how much of a fucking bitch she is, even though their initial dislike comes from a tribal association with their in-group, which, has its roots in white power. Now, I'm not saying that anyone who thinks she's a bitch supports white power. I'm not saying that in the least. But the original problem, like, people had a problem with her years before the movie came out. Years before she'd even been in front of a fucking camera for an interview. Years before that. There were people coming, you know this. People were complaining, and what was, early on, the big complaint was, how can she be Snow White? She's not even white. Right? This is what people are complaining about. And, if you can get past that, right? If you can say Snow White doesn't have to mean the character's white. Yes, I get that the original character, because of standards of beauty in fucking, Northern Europe or whatever, were about having fucking pale skin and dark hair, whatever the fuck else. Whatever she came from. In point of fact, I think she was probably supposed to be Romani, right? White skin, fucking black hair. Does this sound like a gypsy to you? I don't know, man. I shouldn't use the word gypsy, actually. That's a slur now, isn't it? Whatever. You understand what I'm saying. I think that when there's a very loud noise of people,
LMAO.
right? I think when there's a very loud noise of people all saying either the same or similar things, it's super easy to slip into that noise. And I don't know. Look, it's absolutely true, and I think fuck, it's a shame. Okay, it's true that she did herself no favors by reacting negatively in public, because she did react negatively in public. But let's give it context. Okay, it's true that she did that. That did her no favors. This is true. What else is true? What is true is this girl had been putting up with a hate campaign for years. Sure. Well, that I appreciate the info on that, Alex. But let's have a look at what this girl had to put up with before the movie even came out, before anyone really knew anything about her at all, except for the one fact she's not white, right? Even though, let's be honest, she has very fucking pale skin for someone with olive skin. I don't even know what her actual ethnicity is. Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so she's half Colombian. Now, let's just have a look at her pictures. Right? Motherfucker, like, you can see when she's been out for a tan. Bro, this is pale skin. Right? This is pale fucking skin. Well, look, we can say that her actions were dumb, but I think it's fair to keep that in context. And we need to understand that this is someone, for starters, who is very young. What was she, like 21 at the time? So, and what were you like when you were 21? Okay? Imagine if you'd put up with 2 years worth of internet hate campaign. How are you going to react? So it's not even that she's necessarily done something dumb. It's just that her failure was to be not perfect. Okay? Her failure was to be not perfect. And for that reason, suddenly, this people's minds justifies all this hatred. Now, I haven't even seen the movie, but I've seen years and years worth of hate campaign. Right? How is it that I see all that hate campaign and I haven't even seen the movie? It's because of how loud that fucking hate campaign is. Right? So, I don't know, man. Look, I've dealt with small amounts of, like, internet hate. I know how bad that feels. Fucking, I couldn't imagine what it would be like if you've got literally thousands of people hating on you for years at a time. But why? I don't even think there's a problem with the casting. Do you think there's actually a problem with the casting? Does she actually not look a lot like the fucking character she's trying to portray? She does. She's paler than a lot of white girls. Find another white girl from New Jersey. How about Snooki? Right? Snooki's a white girl, right? Are you saying what, she doesn't look anything like her? Or she's just not white enough for you? What are you saying?
But I don't RLY care about the movie.
No, sure. But it's just, I don't know, man. I think pouring hate into it is quite obviously a big waste of energy, right? Big waste of that.
I get what you're saying.
Well, good, I hope so. Fucking hope so. Because I've gone to some trouble to say it.